Hi everyone, I'm Adnan Rafiq, and this is another Azure podcast, your go-to for all things Azure Cloud and AI. Join me for quick dives into the latest Azure updates, interviews with industry expert Adnan Hendricks from Netherlands, discussing insights into AI breakthroughs that are shaping our future. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, we're here to make tech talk exciting and accessible. Without any further wait, let's dive in.
Thanks for joining in. Another day, another podcast. Like all as usual, idea is to bring industry expert on these podcasts and talk about what's happening in the technology space and how does it look like when it comes to actual using the technology or deployment, whether you're a system engineer, cloud engineer, you may be a database administrator, maybe you're running a technical program manager, how things are changing. So today I have a guest of mine. You must have seen him before. On the same podcast, you might have also seen some MVP Summit in Seattle. None other than Adnan Hendricks from Netherlands. Welcome to the show, Adnan.
Hi, Adnan. Thank you for inviting me. It's always good to be back.
Yeah, and I'm so excited because I think I'm going to talk a lot about Copilot, about the ChatGPT, how it's going to change our lives, things what we do, how it's going to change, how it's going to impact, and along those AI and all that stuff. So again, Adnan, like since we talked last time, right? So let's start. What things have changed? Like in a year, things have changed a lot. So I'd like to know what you want to share today.
Well, I think you know that everybody's right about now crazy about artificial intelligence. I mean the growth spurt that OpenAI with ChatGPT made is, unheard
Phenomenal.
of.
Yeah.
No company grew that fast, amount of subscribers, but also changing the space in everything. And that just shows how technology can go, right? And even with one of the biggest backers of OpenAI, Microsoft, is really embraced AI. As you've been made aware and heard from the last Ignite, pretty much everything was about artificial intelligence being available in almost every single product,
Right.
from Microsoft 365, Windows, security, and one of my favorites, Azure, with the Azure Copilot. It's really going to be game changers, including for developers. We used to look at what was, no code, low code programmers. Now it's basically just telling the computer what you want, and the computer writes the code and creates the program.
So interesting. Yeah, I'd been looking some information about Copilot. There's not much available. Like maybe it's not available for GA, and
It's in
under
preview.
Microsoft, it's in preview, right? So from preview, even you have to be a partner like yourself. I'm not a partner, so from the preview perspective, whatever you can share to the public, because I did some research. I did not really find some good stuff, but I know I was playing around with ChatGPT and all that. But again, if you're doing the preview, can you tell a little bit?
Well, you can go to the Microsoft website and search for it and just sign up. So it's pretty much available for everybody.
Okay.
The preview. You just have to sometimes wait for a spot to be made available. I was lucky when it came to the Azure Copilot, because that's more or less where I was concerning. I was looking into the security Copilot as well, which was really great in the Defender products and the security side of things. If you're looking at endpoint and also on the identity side. And that's also quite often where people have questions, right?
Right.
Sometimes people don't think, or sometimes they don't have all the skills. And this is a way, and especially what I love about the AI, not just in Microsoft products, but in general, is that finally the computer gives us the work in which we work. We don't have to go and learn, like with Windows, where people went crazy when Microsoft removed the start button, from the left side and then moved it slightly to the right. And, because people are used to using the UI or working in a specific way. And then you have to click here, click there, do it this way. Now we just tell the computer, this
Yeah.
is what I'd like to know. This is the scenario that I'm trying to set up,
Yeah.
So now it's all about prompting, just asking
So,
questions.
give me any. Do you have an example, a specific example around say, Defender or anything along those lines? You
So,
have
for example,
experience yourself.
when looking at Azure Copilot, and this is
Okay.
something I tell people quite often, it's like having me sitting next to you, and you maybe just know a little bit about Azure.
Okay.
And some of the first things that you might want to be interested in is um, creating a virtual network. Like, how would you go about that?
Okay.
So you could just go to Microsoft Azure Copilot and just type in, um, and you also have the Azure Copilot available on the app. So you
Hmm.
basically just asking it like, I'd like to set up a virtual network,
Wow.
and
So it will just
obviously
create it.
based on your question, how much depth, how much information depends on if the AI will come back and say, I need some more information,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So it will prompt you back, okay, what kind of virtual network? How do you want to make it? You could say, be more specific and say, well, I want to create a virtual network using CLI. And it
Okay.
will just come back in a few minutes and say, this is the code, the CLI code to create a virtual network with the default, you know, network size,
So
IP address, that kind of thing. And then you could just run it in your CLI or the Cloud Shell or something.
yeah. So basically, you're not doing any scripting yourself. You're telling the machine to do it. It will spit out the script for you. Just copy and
The
paste.
machine will do it for you or tell you what you need to do to get
Ah,
it
so
done.
you even create it. Let the machine create the virtual network. This is what you're saying.
No, it can give you
Code.
the specifics, the codes.
Okay.
Now, what I realized when trying it out for the first time, some things obviously I might have asked it a bit too complex things, but the nice thing
Mm,
is it would always come back and ask me for more information or
I
reference,
see.
like what exactly am I trying to do? Or maybe it
Hmm.
couldn't do it. It said, well, uh, these are the storage accounts. Pick one.
I
Which one
see.
is it? So it will go and do a search on the information that I have and allowed me
Interesting.
to act on that. And especially when looking at the security side, which I like, is where you could just like ask it like, okay, which IP addresses uh, or how much public IP addresses are there, you know, uh,
Hmm.
in my
Wow.
subscription, that sort of
Nice.
thing, and it's quite a thing because a lot of people used to they'd go on internet search and then you have to like find either
Yeah.
the
A lot of step.
Azure API graph,
Yeah.
resource graph, search
Yes.
up or look up the PowerShell or something to find that. Now you can just say, you know, how many public IPs do I have? What are the security points I
Hmm.
need to be considering? And the nice thing is about generative AI, it can take information, summarize it, and also prepare it in a way that's easy for management that's not interested in looking at the technical
Yeah.
details, So making nice reports, graphs, that sort of thing. That's really where generative AI also like exploded. I mean, if you look at the public chat GPT, everybody in school was getting
Yeah. Oh
essays
yeah.
and things. I must say that I, I'm still a bit old school. So where I used it in a different way, I still wanted to do a lot of the work myself.
Mm.
But for a lot of people out there that are comfortable with something else doing their work, you know, um, my my daughter studies art at
Okay.
university. She just started this year, So one of the first things that I showed her and said, like, "What are you studying? Look at this AI program, I just
Yeah.
give it some text and it comes back with a picture.
Oh
So
wow.
that's
Yeah.
that's amazing. I don't know if you tried the Microsoft Designer.
Yeah.
It's a really nice AI
Enabled.
picture generator. So
Okay.
I think it's designer.microsoft.com.
Okay. I'll
Or
have a look.
just search for it.
Yeah.
But it's
And
really
I've
nice,
been
you know.
yeah, I've been playing around with another tool called Midjourney.
Okay,
I
Midjourney.
did
Yeah,
already
that's
put
also
some.
quite good.
Oh, that's incredible. So I
Yeah.
had some put videos tutorial on my YouTube. They have limitations for some 10 or 20 images you can create for free, high
Mm,
resolution. You
yeah,
can give them the instruction or the whole environment. You want to
yeah.
have a Superman or a Superwoman kind of man. So I think
It's
Max are pretty much doing the same thing in the back end.
it's really impressive, man. And a lot
Yeah.
of these things are based on ChatGPT 4.
So so security, right? So yeah, I did play around, and I remember I signed up for preview, and I was playing around. So what you're saying, I think the system admin or all those people, they must be happy with this all AI stuff. Or
Well, you know, it's really just what we were always the secret to you getting to the next step is just, you know, asking the right questions, you
yeah,
know, growing up, learning. And I think this is just going to help everybody, you
hmm,
know, whether you, doesn't matter what field you're doing.
yeah,
It's all like your quality of your life is going to be dependent on the questions you ask.
and also some jobs will be impacted. I just did have a one podcast yesterday or day before with someone who's an infosec leader,
Mm,
and he's for a law firm. And I agree with him that
mm,
junior lawyer, they do a lot of summary.
yeah.
Now he was saying this is easily replaceable by a chat GPT kind of tool because it will be used to do the summary. So these
Mm,
people need to think about it, because now why would somebody pay them if they can leverage ChatGPT and do the summary of a case?
well, a lot
So
of
yeah, I mean, it's all about upgrading your skills basically, you know.
well, a lot of copywriters, content
Yeah,
creators,
same thing.
uh,
Yep, marketing.
people that write at the newspapers, you know,
Yeah, they're all going to be
journalistic
impacted
side
for
type of
sure.
work.
Yeah, that's all going to be impacted. But again, going back to our area of Azure or cloud itself, or cloud security, because one of the thing I was looking at, you can just copy and paste some of the logs from Sentinel or log
Mm,
analytics,
mm, mm,
just
mm.
put it there, and it will just help you understand what does it mean, what this code is all about. Again, if it's not there, then where would I go and do all the Google research and everything? You know what I mean? Now it makes my
Yep.
life easier. As you mentioned, even if I tell, like, hey, give me some best practices to apply in Azure, so it will just spit out. And I like the idea of
Definitely.
you were just mentioning about, hey, show me the public IP address in my environment. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you want to know, you don't want to do manually
Or
go
all
and check.
especially when you're doing like sign-in logs or
Okay,
auditing, you know,
yeah,
you want to see which accounts are giving failures, signing in, those sort of stuff.
all right.
And quite often, I believe there's going to be just different roles, you know, where it will be less, it's going to get less technical. You
Hmm.
know, you're still going to have some technical people,
Yeah.
but the
So in the
range
way,
is going
basically,
to be a lot less, where people that are already in the management sort of role, that need the reports, that normally send a request to IT, give me this. I mean, they could just
yeah,
ask the computer,
yeah.
you
What
know,
I'm,
just ask Copilot or ask the artificial intelligence. And
yeah,
I truly believe, and something that also pretty, I wouldn't say it scares me, you know, not that I'm that worried about it for myself, but there's going to be like in the future, not right now, luckily, but you know, I see it where you'd have like a real virtual assistant. I mean, like Siri,
yeah,
Cortana's been here for, you know, quite some time now, right?
yeah. Almost eight,
Helping
ten
us
years. I
get
don't
from
know.
point A to point B,
Yeah,
letting us know which appointments to make,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So that sort of thing's been around, and this with this, it's going to just go that one step further.
Yeah.
And I see a point. I mean, Tesla's already creating this robot,
Yeah.
walking, talking robot, and
Yeah.
robotics has also been taking quite a leap. So imagine fusing that with artificial intelligence and also just having a virtual assistant in your computer
Yeah.
with a little avatar.
Yeah.
You just talk, because you can use the speaker and
Right.
have to understand that, and
Right.
there's so many different flavors. I don't know
Ways.
if
Yeah.
you aware of all the AI programs you could just download and run locally on your MacBook or
Hmm.
Surface device with GPU,
Yeah.
or in Azure in the cloud with a nice GPU, offline,
Yeah.
private, pre-trained, that
Yeah.
has pretty much free reign, so it's not limited and protected like public chat GPT,
Okay.
so you could pretty much ask it stuff that normal chat GPT won't answer or give you results on.
I
And that
see.
stuff you can just freely available to download and set up
So
from GitHub. So if
right.
you
So
look into something called Ooga Booga,
what's that?
it's just a
How do you spell it?
offline AI that you can go and run.
How do you spell it?
Ooga Booga. I'm gonna have to look at
Google. Oh,
my
I'll Google it. Okay. No, that's
just
fine.
the
Google.
phonetics, and then what
Okay.
you can do is there's another website. I actually have to look on my notes. It's just so much information in
Yeah.
my head right
No, we
now.
yeah. Once you pass that on, I can put on the description. That's fine. So like it's in preview. So like, what do you see interest from the customer? Are they excited about it?
Everybody's excited about it,
Hmm.
but it's like that fancy car, Adnan. And I always love saying your name. Um,
They have the same
you
name.
see,
That's fine.
it's like the fancy car that everybody wants, but when it comes to the price,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
it's
Eventually, you're gonna go for
and you must also understand the minute anything is new technology, it costs a bit more
Yes.
until it becomes cheaper. I mean, just look at cloud use,
Yeah.
um, and certain things, so
Mm. That's
uh,
true.
the technology needs to pay it back, kind of thing. So
Right.
it's going to be a bit pricey in the beginning, but
No, yeah, I mean,
it's
I see a lot of benefits to the businesses also. You made a good point about if they have Copilot, then you can just go and ask. Like, you don't have, like, there will be impact. The thing I'm gonna
or
say, some people will say, okay, their job's gonna go away.
mm,
Yeah, but for repetitive task and all these. So I think the people has to focus more on more knowledgeable. So the job for repetitive tasks will be taken care by Copilot, but as you're saying, people has to be still knowledgeable enough to
yeah,
do the prompt engineering, to
yeah.
ask the right questions. Otherwise, how it's going to work?
But just looking at the past track record of everybody that's already been using uh, the Microsoft Copilot in my M365, for
Okay.
those customers are really having been in the private previews and those sort of things, and
Okay.
also spoke about the journeys during Ignite, is that they are so much more productive.
Mm.
It's like uh, having extra people doing the work, and their workforce sees that they can focus on other things, and getting the it's more or less you just really have to confirm. AI
Mm.
still now and then comes up with stuff that you need to confirm in some cases. And also, that's also how we help the AI, right? So in
Yeah.
the beginning, here and there, it might give you information that it thinks is maybe 60, 70, 80% correct instead of 100% correct. And
Yeah.
that's where you can give feedback and just
Yeah.
help retrain the AI, you could say.
Right.
So that's really gonna make it a lot better, or even better than what it is right now. But so
Yeah.
far, everything I've heard from people that are already using it,
Mhm.
productivity is just going through the roof.
Yeah, machine teaching is there. So machine
Yeah.
learning and teaching. You have to teach your machine, and it will take some time. I mean, again, those who don't know, AI has been used in cybersecurity for so long. We look at
Mm,
distribute denial of attacks and
yeah.
familiar attacks on the firewall. They do it AI based. They know bad IPs and all the things.
Definitely. Yeah.
So now it's coming to more closer to the consumerization, basically, where
Mm-mm.
everybody can leverage that. And of course, there are a lot of improvements still needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So are there any concern? Have you heard about anything from your customer on the privacy?
Ooh, privacy. Well, there were concerns with some things, but also when you kind of sign up for these things as a customer, so it's it's basically a Microsoft instance of an AI, you could say, that's only touching your data.
Okay. There's no
So
commingling and all
so
that.
it's not gonna put your data somewhere else.
Okay.
And with Azure, also with Microsoft and their partnership with OpenAI,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
basically use the Copilot Studio and
Hmm.
build your own offline AI. If you want to go
Yeah.
that route instead of using
Exactly.
Copilot. So you could, run it in
Yeah.
Azure. You can run things locally. There's a lot
That,
of different ways in which you can do that.
yeah, that's you touched a good point. Basically, this is what I wanted to hear. If they have this like a hybrid kind of model, you
Mm.
can bring that on
No,
premises, the companies who are concerned
definitely,
about.
definitely. I mean, obviously there's if you a company and you still want to have that hybrid option, you can
Right.
make it search on your internal data while it
Mm,
still has access to internet. So
yeah,
it's not putting
exactly.
your data, internet, your
Yeah.
AI program as it is running locally in your
Yeah.
own data center or Azure, your own
Yeah.
environment. But you're giving it free reign to, if it doesn't find the information locally, to see what's around on internet and
Yeah.
just give you the best and latest information.
Yeah. On the last month or two, I've been to a couple of social events, and there were concern on AI related to a similar thing with
Mm,
companies who are very regulated. So it looks like there is a
yeah,
solution now for them.
that's the solution. I know a lot of people. If you sign up for, OpenAI, ChatGPT, ChatGPT 4 Turbo, which is
Yeah.
the best one out right now, and there's a way in which you can go and create your own little AI doing specific things, but
Okay.
that's still, public AI.
Mm,
And
yeah.
companies just need to be aware when they're playing around with that,
Hmm.
what information they're feeding it. It's, it's there to help the AI learn better. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting, and I think there's a lot of need to learn. I would be interested in knowing, like, when cloud started,
mhm.
there was always along the line the data center desert residency. So for
Yeah, very
ChatGPT and
important,
OpenAI,
very
for
important.
European, right?
Data residency,
Yeah.
especially
That's
where I live.
ex-
United States is quite big, but here,
yeah.
we have the EU, so wherever,
You exactly.
I'm also busy with projects where I have to have DR and that sort of thing, and
Yeah. No,
so I
interesting.
need
It's
to
interesting.
consider those things where I put resources and data,
Right.
and that's gonna be the same. But I see a world where cloud is pretty much in every country.
Right.
I mean, that's why I'm glad every time I go back to my own, where I grew up. There's a local Azure data centers in South Africa, in Cape Town and
Cape Town.
Johannesburg.
Hmm.
So great for the continent over there,
Okay. Good to know.
and I'm glad I can also use it from time to time.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Cool.
When I'm down
So
there doing stuff.
nice. Yeah, so just to summarize, it looks like for all of people who are in this industry, they can be more productive. There's a lot of automation happening behind the scene, less of coding, let machine take care of that. And people just need to upgrade the skill when it comes to become more knowledgeable, basically. They need to
Well,
widen their...
my biggest tip, you could say, for IT people right now is to learn how AI works. So
Okay,
you not only can use it for yourself internally, but that's the next step, right? Our job is pretty much helping people understand IT or technology.
right.
So whereas, we used to make the technology in a certain way, now, especially with Azure Copilot, it can give you a design.
Okay.
You say, I need this. How would I
Mm-hmm.
design that?
Okay.
Create a landing zone type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Interesting.
allow the code to deploy that or to create it. And it's more or less understanding how artificial intelligence works. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I see a future where we need to understand a lot less
Mm-hmm.
of the actual technology, if you understand. For example, somebody without much Azure knowledge would be able to just go and use Azure with Azure Copilot in the future. I mean, right
Mm-hmm.
now it's at the start, so I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just believe everything you read on the internet kind of thing. But more or less, it also helps. For example, I frequently show people that are new to IT or trying to learn Azure,
Yeah.
just go to Microsoft Learn, you get a little
Yeah.
theory, but you also get some exercises that you can try it yourself. So,
Right.
learn it, do it,
Yeah.
repeat, until you know it, and then you can go and practice it in production. And that's pretty much going to be the same learning curve with AI, So
Yeah.
understand that the skills to really know the technical stuff in the future. I don't think that's going to be much of a requirement when the AI is going to get so good that it would be able to replace me. So that's where I see AI in the future, which is also
Yeah.
where I'd like it to be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all technology
Then I
professionals
can
likes to be
retire, Adnan.
challenged. What's that?
Then I can retire. Not that
Yeah.
I'm planning
Exactly.
to, I love what I
Yeah.
do, you know.
Yeah, but
Um,
it will take time. It's not, yeah. But again, I can see this will open more door for the jobs for the career starter. As you just mentioned, there will be a room for people who are experienced, but again, open doors for somebody who is starting new. They just set up things, up and running. Hey, find me the like SOC analyst job, for example, or junior level jobs. They can
yeah.
leverage this, and
And also just think about all the stuff, on social media that you've seen
yeah,
where people, with the rise in the internet a couple of years ago and being able to use social media
yes,
as a business. Now, just imagine all the people getting into AI now. There's already tons on social media showing
yeah.
people how to use AI, prompt engineering, which is what they're
Yeah,
calling it.
I did record two sessions, which I will making public in a couple of weeks, where I was using ChatGPT, sort
Okay,
of,
great.
because I
Looking
know
forward
what's
to
going
see
behind the
that. Yeah.
scene and running those prompts. How do you need to ask this right questions when it
Oh,
comes to security in Azure?
yeah.
And if you are doing a risk assessment,
Mm,
what should you be need to? So basically, machine is there to help you, but you got to know the right
definitely.
questions. So this is where experience matters, that you
Yeah.
literally need to know that it will have this area and room to grow. So again, going back to your point, like that's IT and security, but again, sometime if I need to look up something around marketing and social media, I just
Mm,
mentioned, so there's a lot of room for them also to just ask the
mm.
machine and it will just come up with something based on, and then you can improve it.
Yeah, I agree, which is why I say, people need to learn good prompting
Yeah,
and how AI works. And the more you understand artificial intelligence, the better results you'll have.
yeah. So yeah, so to summarize, to wrap it up, with those who are watching it, ChatGPT and AI is just your free assistant available to you. If you're not using it, somebody else using it. So make sure you start using it, get used to it.
Yeah.
Right? Right, my
Definitely.
friend? So thanks for your time again, and
Well,
we'll
thank
touch
you.
base again and dig deeper into some of those interesting AI stuff.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Feel free to share your thoughts, comments, or suggestions for future topics in the comments section below. Your feedback is what keeps this conversation alive. Thank you.